Hello, I'm Lauren Cohen, and today on the Care, Mena and Date with Tech podcast, I'm joined by Giovanni Gambardella, author, TEDx speaker, international trainer, and one of the region's leading experts in team coaching and personal transformation. Giovanni, you're an NLP Master Practitioner and the creator of the innovative Experiential team coaching method. Thank you so much for being here today. You're an extremely interesting guy. You've founded team working training in 20 years ago, I believe, and you've trained over 70,000 people from some of the world's leading companies since then.
Yes. And number is growing. We had contact with more than 800 companies so far in 3 different continents, more than 5 countries. We've been doing a lot.
Okay. Today, I'd like to discuss your approach to experiential training. When did you realize that this is your calling?
Well, as you said, we started the activity more or less more than 20 years ago. I started with NLP, which is mind-blowing in a way that it opens the world and you see it differently. You communicate differently with yourself first. And of course, you start communicating differently with everyone else after that.
NLP, just for our listeners, neuro-linguistic programming.
Correct. Neuro-linguistic programming, yes. Which basically it's like having instructions to better use your brain and to better interact with other people. Because we have a representation of reality in our mind. This representation changes, and the representation that everybody has is different. The more we understand that what we think is just a representation, is an idea, and it's about to change with time, the easier it is to not be fixed on your positions and be open to change. Changing now is everywhere, and we need to be flexible on that. But to answer your question, when did we come up with the team building idea, was that, yes, you can achieve a lot empowering yourself, improving yourself, communicating better, being able to motivate yourself better, but you are always a human being in a social world. If you don't connect with the people around you and are not capable of working properly with other people, this will be so hard. Individually, we can achieve a lot of great results, but when we are together, the same results can be achieved easily with peace of mind, without stress, without having this constant approach like I fight the world, like Rocky Balboa.
Harmony.
Yeah, it's like we don't have to fight, we just have to work together in peace and everything is easy.
Your method, experiential team coaching, is quite unique. How does it differ from traditional training?
Well, traditionally, we are taught at school that there's somebody telling us the truth and we are supposed to learn that truth and go on with these lessons, with these teachings. What we do with experiential training is that we propose some experiences on which we ask a debriefing, like, how did you feel during that experience? It's just about feeling, how you behaved, how did you observe yourself and your colleagues, your teammates? What did you learn from that? The moment you stop and start observing, you detach yourself from the reality, from the picture, and you realize different things, different perspective. And this helps you understand better yourself and the other people around you.
Yes.
And that's totally different. The approach is different because apart from this briefing and debriefing part, we propose simple activity that engage people. Normally, when you go on a training, it's very boring. You look at some slides, and after that, you are dying when it's going to finish.
Tea break.
When we do our activities, people want to stay longer because they want to play. Through games, we engage people and have them committed to do something that they want to do. The moment they are in totally with mind and body, they can observe themselves better and live better experiences.
Can you explain for us what some of your activities are?
Well, we do all kinds of activities. We use music, we use movie making, we use cooking activities, we use survival activities, we use the desert. What we create is an environment that, let's say, shocks people, like takes them out of the comfort zone, so that they are not the manager, the engineer, the admin. They are people in a place where they are not used to be. So the moment they experience something simple like preparing some pasta, but they have to do it together, it changes. Because, of course, if I do the pasta and the thickness is like this and somebody else does the same pasta in totally different standards, then you cook the pasta and then it's horrible. So you have to agree on doing something which is simple, but if you don't coordinate, if you don't communicate, if you don't understand each other, doesn't work. So if you do it in the simple thing, the simple environment where nobody identifies himself, it's easier. Because when we are called to observe ourselves on our daily job, it affects our identity. If I'm wrong here, so I'm not a good person, then what are you saying about me? That I'm not good enough? And
Self-worth.
then you start reacting, protecting, responding, hey, back up. But when it's something that is not so important, like pasta or building something with the Lego,
Okay.
you are more open to listening. That is something that doesn't happen often.
And perhaps making a mistake, even getting it wrong in the way of doing it differently.
Yeah, sometimes talking about mistakes, this is what is missing, that people are afraid of admitting mistakes because I'm wrong. When we were at school, being mistaken was failing,
I
right?
think even in many corporates today, you'll find that I've had a corporate client tell me that in their organization, if you make a mistake, people will remind you about it over and over for years to come.
Exactly. And that's something that is sticking in our culture. And also, we are not used to give compliments.
Yes.
So we have the failure thing. If I make a mistake, so I am afraid of being wrong. And also, I don't receive the confirmation when I need them, when I do things right. So it's frustrating, and going to work every day becomes like a battle. Like,
Yes.
hey, I have to be careful because otherwise.
And as you said in the beginning of our conversation, we're living in a world of change, and I think obviously, people need to make mistakes when we're moving towards change.
Exactly. Mistakes must be encouraged. And the tendency is to set a proper boundary for mistake. Let's see how much I can be wrong. After that, of course, I need to stop and reflect. But if there's no margin to make anything out of the standards of the ordinary, then it doesn't work, because I am obliged to do the things as they've always been done. And now the world is changing at such a rapid pace that we cannot keep up if we do not open to a different topic.
You mentioned earlier that you've worked across 3 continents. Have you noticed a lot of cultural differences and, in how teams collaborate and work together?
Absolutely. There's so many differences. And the more teams have cultural differences, in a way, they are richer, but they don't understand this richness in most cases, because being different means that we can have different tools. But when you see somebody's different, normally you start saying, he's not like me. And we want everybody to look like the same so that we feel safe. Again, it's always about protecting ourselves in a way. So this behavior prevents from understanding the other's culture and also not using their tools. For example, some cultures are more open to listening and less open to speaking. Some others are totally the opposite. But if they don't understand each other's strengths, they always keep opposing to each other. Being a tidy person is a good quality, but also is being creative. If you're just tidy, there's not much interesting going on there. But if you're only creative and you create mess everywhere, then it's hard for people to follow you. So you need to understand how to interact with each other. And this is what we try to do in terms of diversity and inclusion, because it's easy to say we are all diverse and we need to work together. But we try to find ways, with simple ways, to make understand that this is really useful for them, with games, for example.
Can you give us an example of something that you would do to try and bring a cross-cultural team together?
Yeah. One of the things is, for example, physical obstacles that they have to overcome. And there's one exercise which is called spiderweb. There is a huge net where they have to pass. Everybody has to pass through a hole, and nobody can touch the net. And all the team needs to go on the other side. So, of course, there are different holes at different heights, and we have different muscles, different body types, different everything. So they need to make a strategy. And if there's nobody tiny, small, that can pass through a little hole, for example, it doesn't work, because so they have to understand how to adapt each other's characteristics in a way that they can use it and they can be useful. So being diverse in that case is very, very simple to observe.
How important, the importance of diversity illustrated. You've worked with global giants, Google, Amazon, Apple. What do these high-performing teams consistently do differently?
What I've seen is that they communicate better. They're more open to communication, to understanding, and to discuss themselves. More traditional companies, I've seen that sometimes they resist to change. The more they're traditional.
Okay. Perhaps like legacy business and, ones that are family owned, for instance, that have been around for.
Yes,
Okay.
Exactly. When there is a high presence, a strong presence of the founder, sometimes it's
Difficult.
it's difficult. If it's not like very enlightened and but keeping up with the evolution of the things, it's difficult sometimes to change things.
NLP is a really big part of your practice. You've touched on it a few times. And how do you feel that that helps teams to improve their performance by using NLP?
We don't really actively mention the NLP tools, but we use them when we have debriefings. For example, we encourage people to dig out what is the representation in each other's. So what does your colleague see to make him behave in that way in your behavior? Or how do you interpret his behavior? What do you think is trying to communicate with you? Maybe afraid of something? Is he scared of doing something in this? And we try to use these tools because the observation and the meta model, for example, tries to dig out what is the meaning behind the meaning. For example, we say, I want success. Okay, but what is success? For you might mean I want to go on TV. For me, it means having published 12 books. Yes. Everybody has a different definition of success. When we use these synthetic meanings like success, worth, love, respect, passion, motivation, everybody has a different idea.
I wanted to jump onto what you were saying. A big part of what you have touched on is communication. And now I'm also hearing from you that you can very much help teams to get over conflicts and to deal with, how to deal with conflicts constructively, to actually learn and grow from it.
Yeah, what we try to do is to understand the real meaning behind the conflict. Because normally conflicts, in most cases that I've seen, it's just misunderstanding of how we perceive the reality.
Absolutely.
And what we try to do, it's not like miracles, but we put them in an environment they can feel safe. So they do not feel like, hey, if I'm wrong, then I'm a bad person, then I will be fired, for example. So we try to open a setting where the discussion is welcome and everybody can feel okay to be
heard.
Yeah, and heard. Because most cases, when people don't feel like you care for my opinion, I just try to oppose to everything that you say, because first I expect you to listen to me. And this is something that we see very often. If people don't feel important in their role, in their position, they just act against anything that happens. So every project, instead of having people going in the same direction,
together,
has dead weights that they have to carry on. And this doesn't work. If we have to lift this little table here, if we just use one hand, it's easy. But if somebody else sits on it, then it might be more difficult. And this happens when people don't feel respected or don't feel considered. Everything that they need is to know that their opinion is being heard and evaluated. Yeah.
You're also an author. You've written, is it one book, more than one book?
Yeah, it's the first one, but it's already, we already have the second one.
And the pilot is you.
Correct.
Tell us more about that, please.
Well, this was born out of my own exercises. I always question myself. I try to understand what is the good thing to do and have a vision that guides me. And in this vision, understanding what are the directions that I need to follow. In order to do that, I wanted to share these tools that I collected during the years, and I wanted to share with the world. So this book is not just like reading. It's a book where we encourage people to write down things and to write down their own maps of reality and where they want to go. And most important thing is that I would like everybody to understand what is really important behind our goals. For example, we set some goals and we do not realize that it's not exactly what we want. For example, we think that we need a lot of money so that I can buy a car and so I can feel appreciated. But if that is the final thing, being appreciated, especially by someone, then you'd rather probably get to the appreciation directly instead of going through the frustration of earning money, being disappointed at the end because money doesn't give you anything if you don't use it for what is
what's really important to you.
Yeah. So we try to dig the goal behind the goal. What is the really need behind the goal that we expect to succeed, to accomplish? That's one thing that the book.
Yeah, of the book here. Stay with us.
It's just in Italian for now. It will be translated soon, hopefully.
It is a workbook, like you say, is where people that are reading it can actually write down checklists and their thoughts.
Checklist questions. And from this book is coming a board game for companies. We are creating a board game which is connected to the chapters of the book so that it's, again, not just a reading that you have by yourself.
But interactive.
Yes, you can play. Basically, we find out that also people that are not working together can play this game. But it's more useful, of course, if you are a team, and then you can share things together.
I think that sounds fantastic. I haven't heard of a
I'm
corporate team building board game.
I'm so excited about it.
I can see your Italian passion is coming through. If you could offer one mindset shift to anybody that's looking to improve their leadership skills or their communication in the workplace, what would that be?
Well, listening a lot. I think if a leader is not capable of listening to small talk, to little sounds that are around, little signals that are around, might lose something. Act quickly, because it's much better to make a mistake and correct rather than thinking forever and make the right move when it's too late. And take care of the people around you, because that's the power that you really can develop if you develop the people that work with you.
I mean, your people at the end of the day are your business.
Exactly.
I look forward to seeing you on stage later today. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.